Card number 7 is an interesting card shape. The square actually creates the main dimension for the card, but then we've got the reverse inside, so we're almost working with an envelope shape. This can be cut into one piece. So here is the panel that we're looking to work with. Folded in half, it gives us a great shape to work with. So first thing that we're going to do is put in place the different pieces that are going to define the actual square that we've got. So I'm going to use my wet glue and put these on flat. Of course, again, I've mentioned on previous demonstrations and previous videos, you could be using your dimensional tape to get height. So don't forget to put the border around the outside edge when you're working this one through. And I'm going to be putting the inside panel in at the same time. The trellis work that we've got here looks particularly interesting. But of course, the other thing that you could be doing, you could be using just plain squares. I've already assembled one of the mats and layers, and that's going to sit in the front. It's interesting the way that vertically and horizontally those squares start to come to life. And this is ready to actually go on the front of the card. And the reason this one's going on the front is I've used the foam to be able to give it some dimension. So that one will sit just on the front there. I'm going to open up the inside. I'm just going to check that border to make sure that it's even across all 4 edges. And then we've got a panel to go on the front. Well, this one is somewhere where you could put a piece of decoration. I could put it on here square, so it's sitting inside that whole design. I could also be putting it on diagonally. You choose whichever way you feel it's going to work best. Pop that to one side, open this up, and let's get the centre finished too. So starting with the white, that's going to be the foundation for the squares. Sometimes finger lift can be quite challenging, not because it's difficult to work with, but if it hasn't been stuck down perfectly, it actually can be quite hard to get hold of. I'm not going to worry that I've got it's slightly offset there, because at home you'll be taking much more time. So I've got my panel with my dimension, which sits perfectly there. And then this is where we'll come back to our wet glue. A border around the outside edge. I don't feel like it needs the glue in the centre. I think everything that we've got there will be sufficient to hold it in place. And then decide whether you're going to write your sentiment in the middle. And that will obviously need to be a colour that you can see. So I've chosen to use the white. I'm now just looking at where I want this position to get me a nice border around the outside edge, and then come back onto the front, and I've got that lovely white square that will finish it off. Let's take a look at both of these together and see how, just by changing the black and white and the white and black, we get different results.